Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. This week I am here with my cousin Abby.
Hi.
So this week we are going to be talking about Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. This video is a tie-in with a little announcement that I posted on my Instagram. So if you want to know a bit more about that, go and check out my latest Instagram post. It is, of course, bookish. So go check it out. Got this in London. And the best part of this, it's signed. Complete accident finding that. Happy accident.
No, you got these for me on my last birthday.
Okay. So the Rebel of the Sands books are basically about this girl called Amani, and she lives in the desert in Dustwalk in the kingdom. Can you count it? Can you call it that?
Yeah, kingdom,
yeah.
definitely.
The kingdom of Miraji. And her mum is dead. Her stepfather is dead. She doesn't know. No one knows who her dad was. And she lives with her aunt and uncle. And one day she meets a man, the Eastern Snake, and basically that kind of sparks 3 books of amazing adventures. So the first book is called Rebel of the Sands. And the second book is called Traitor to the Throne. And the third one is called Hero at the Fall. My first question is, do you like the main overview? Do you like the story?
Yes, I love the story. It's definitely the kind of thing that will appeal to lots of different people because
it's like a little bit of everything.
Romance, drama, horror, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's so cleverly written.
I'm going to be very honest here and out myself. When I moved from my bedroom upstairs to this bedroom downstairs, it was like 2-3 days of just moving stuff around. And when I finally had all the stuff in my room, I was like, okay, I'm going to put an audiobook on. What can I put on? And I had Apple Music or something at this time, iTunes, and the audiobook for the second book, Traitor to the Throne, was on there. Didn't know anything about this series, never heard of it before. Put it on, thinking like, oh yeah, it's the first one. And I listened to this. I read the second one before I read the first one.
Didn't think to Google maybe which is the first. No.
But I mean, I'm very glad that I did it, because Rebel of the Sands is now one of my many favorites. It's in my top 5.
You introduced me to the first book.
I read it to you last summer.
So not the summer we just had, the summer before. And you would record each chapter on voice memo and either send it to me or we'd listen to it whilst we were cleaning our pops' windows.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
I remember him coming in and asking us, oh, what are you guys listening to?
Me! Yeah,
and then you bought me them for my following birthday because I was desperate and asked for them.
Yeah. Which book is your favourite?
Oh, easy. This one. So the reason the first book is my favourite is I love the series, but the first book's my favourite because I love meeting all the new characters and those of them are in it, whereas some of them aren't in the next few ones.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say why, but I love how the characters meet, and I just love the first book. It's my favourite.
Yeah. I think the only thing for me that I struggled with in these books was at the beginning, especially in the second one, you had the first 2 or 3 chapters were just really straight. You were like, oh, straight into the action, straight into the adventure. And then you'd have 4 or 5 chapters after that were just much slower. It just took a lot longer to you'd have a short action-packed couple chapters, then quite a few more slower paced chapters, but then the action and the adventure would spike again, and it would spike for the rest of the book. But other than that, these are amazing, and the way she introduces you to some of the characters, and the place itself is really, really amazing.
Yeah, gives me proper sometimes Aladdin vibes without the magic flying carpet.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, reason I'm looking down here is my phone is here and I can't move it because it's charging. So my next question is, who is your favorite female and male character?
Jin.
Really?
He's my favorite.
Didn't know that.
The reasons he's my favorite is he's so different to all my other favorite characters.
Yeah.
But then my other very close favorites are Amani, Shazad. Yeah.
I think my favorite is Amani.
Yeah.
I can like, yeah, she's just like so insanely amazing. And especially in the second book, in the place that she is. Not going to tell anyone, I'm not going to say what because of spoilers, but she never loses courage and hope.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see that. Who is your favorite side character? So not including Amani and Jin. Anyone else?
Shazad. Yeah. I love her. She's such a strong female character. She's so inspirational. And I think in the world and the time the books are set in, females are sometimes a men's object, something that the men own.
Yeah.
And I think she owns her individuality so well in the book, and she's just amazing.
She's insane. Yeah. I think I honestly can't decide between three people, like tied for first, and that is Sam, Hala, and Ahmed. I don't know what it is about those characters. I love them. They just, yeah. Okay.
Oh, and apologies to people whose names we are pronouncing
wrong.
Pronouncing wrong.
Yeah. If you think they're pronounced another way, this is just how we think their names are pronounced. I know many people. No, that's wrong. I know a few people who pronounce their names very differently. Which character do you identify with the most?
I think I'd probably say I identify most with Amani, just because there have been times in life when I've not felt that I've fitted in somewhere, but then, but also I think throughout the book she becomes a stronger person. And like in the first book, I feel like she's often out for herself a lot of the time and just looking after number one. But I think she just becomes a lot more caring and a very strong and powerful leader, and that's something
I agree.
I like to be able to lead people in a way that isn't bossy and help people overcome things.
I think I'm a bit of Amani and a bit of Delilah. I feel very protected, like Delilah. Ahmed is a very protective older brother, and for me, I have very protective in a good way. My parents are very protective of me, which I really like. And then, I, like you said, Amani just kind of grows from just caring only about herself to caring about other people. And you see a lot of that. And it's nice that you get to see kind of that growth. It's not just something that's in the background you don't really notice until like, oh, there was some kind of growth thing that's happened here. She doesn't care about just herself now. But I definitely think I identify with the two of them.
Yeah.
So my next question is, if you could spend one day with one male and one day with one female character, who would it be and why?
So I think I would either spend my day with Delilah or Amani. Amani because I think she'd be such a fun person to hang out with, and Delilah again, the same.
Yeah.
One male would probably be Sam. I feel like we'd have a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, one female would probably be Shazad or Hala. I know one of the characters, I'm not going to say who, is proper uptight and seems very mean, but I have a very different way of looking at that character. And I think that both of them would be very interesting to chat with and hang out with. And my male character would be Jin. No reason. Go read the books if you want a reason.
Yeah.
Just Jin. My next question is, if you could bring one character to life, who would it be and why? One person that remembers being in the books and what happens in the books, and one character that doesn't.
For the character who doesn't, I think I would possibly choose either Delilah or Jin. I think I'd love to see how Jin would react in this kind of world and how with the pandemic and stuff. But I think Delilah, I think she would flourish here. I think she'd really blossom.
Yeah, I agree.
For people who would remember, I'd probably pick Amani. I think she could, or Shazad. Either of them could give me some great advice.
Yeah. For me, I'd probably pick, to not remember, for those if they didn't remember, I'd probably pick Delilah. Yeah. Because like you said, she'd flourish here. And I think she'd be a really good friend.
Yeah.
She's very kind and caring and loving. She always hears you out. She always hears the characters out, which I think would be really, really nice. Not that you don't do that. And for someone who does remember, Ahmed.
Yeah.
I think just because he's such an interesting character and he has been through so much, it would be interesting to hear about like his take on everything that happened, because you don't get any chapters, like all the chapters are told from Amani's point of view, but at the same time, you know that he's going through a lot, and it would just be really interesting to hear what he thinks about that. And then my next question is, which do you prefer? The UK covers, which are the ones we have, or the US covers?
UK.
Same.
I think in a lot of cases the US covers are always prettier, particularly if the author lives in America or is American. But Alwyn Hamilton lives in the UK, and I feel like that's why we got.
She lives in London.
I feel like that's why we got
good covers.
But they are so beautiful and intricate. But I get the first and the second, particularly the second. You have all this detail.
Yeah,
I think it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and the US covers are amazing. They're more like dark covers, where these are a lot more bright and vibrant. Like we've got blues and golds and greens. I don't know.
I have one. Can I ask?
You have a question?
Okay.
Yay!
Yeah, I have a question. So I put a bit of thought into what question I was going to ask, and I have decided that I wanted to ask you a question on whether you thought the books had an educational value or not.
Okay.
Because I know on like some book rating stuff, they say, is it educational, is it not? And I have an opinion, and I was just wondering if you had an opinion on it.
I'm going to be honest, I never really thought about, like, does it have an educational side before? I guess there are some things that are very educational. A lot of the there is stuff in these books about the Sultan keeps a, how do you say it, harem. And it's, you see in one of the books, it's just full to bursting of women who have been sold to the Sultan. And it's, I remember reading that and just being very, like, shocked, and then talking to my parents about it, and they were like, that still happens. And that was very, I didn't know about that kind of stuff. I was 11 when I first read these, I think. I was very shocked.
I would probably say that, in the sense, it doesn't have an educational value, like it doesn't teach you fancy new words, like Anna Queen Gables has massive words in it and you learn what new things are. But I think with Rebel in the Sands, particularly with topics like sexism and women taking the lead, it's very powerful in that.
There are so many, like, young people were reading it,
they're going to realise that it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, you can lead if you want to. You can do what you want, you shouldn't let other people stop you. And I think it's one of the really good messages that's in the book, but I feel like it's not promoted that it's in it, because it's classed as a young adult trilogy. And I think some parents will think, oh, well, there's probably going to be lots of this, lots of that in it.
And there's,
but it has some really good messages in it, and I think that's something that's not talked about enough. And and one thing I love about these books is the women, the men step back sometimes so that the women can lead, but the women don't push them away. They both act like they're their equals. So Shahzad and Ahmed, they're both equals. So they don't treat each other as one is less, one is more powerful.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, this video does tie in with my latest post on Instagram, which I will leave a link to down below. So please go and check that out, because I am very excited about this news. Abby does know what it is, but I think Abby's the only person apart from, like, my parents that I've told. Abby and Ruthie, another one of my friends. Abby and Ruthie know, and I'm very excited about this. So thank you for watching, and I will see you this Saturday. Bye guys.